Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for ICONversations. Today, we have 5 of our amazing icons from Canada and the United States here to bring you a masterful mindset conversation. From Florida, we have Stephen Croy. From Arizona, we have Marshall Nathig. From Alberta, we have Lyndon Summer. And also from Alberta, we have Patrick Krause. And from British Columbia, we have our amazing moderator, Laura Healy, here for you today. Laura, you want to take it over?
Wow, Brian, it's such an honor to be here today. I am absolutely so excited to be able to share some of my knowledge, experience, and to also get to know our panel. It's so exciting, first of all, for all you guys to be able to kind of immerse yourself in all the knowledge that this panel has, because mindset's not something that you can read a book on and you become an expert. Mindset's a daily practice. Mindset's a monthly practice, a yearly practice. We have, it's not just something that you are naturally gifted at. Sometimes you have to work at it. So I would love our panel, which I was chatting with you before, Equal Canada and US. Woo woo, that's pretty exciting. To quickly tell, starting with Patrick, to quickly tell our fantastic group just a quick little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get it started with some questions all about mindset, which I think you're going to really enjoy today. So Patrick, do you want to kick it off and tell us a quick little bit about yourself and keep it focused towards mindset and how you achieved ICON?
You bet. Morning, guys. I've been a realtor for 26 and a half years. So yes, you do have to have some mindset to last that long. But because of getting yourself in the proper mindset, you do get up every day ready to roll. You're focused, you achieve your goals, and you keep pushing forward. One of my big things is just, I call it focus forward. It's just worry about what's in front of you. You've dealt with the past. Just keep pushing forward. Mindset will get you to where you want to go.
That's brilliant, Patrick. Thank you so much. Landon, what about you?
Yeah, are you ready to rumble, everybody?
Woo woo.
I guess that's just, I'm 32 years in the business. I'm just so excited to be here. And absolutely, mindset is everything without question. Do you know why you're getting up every single morning and doing the things that you're doing? Having those clear goals of what you want to achieve, what you're trying to do, and just trying to make dreams come true. Very exciting business, and glad to see everybody today.
That is so amazing, man. I feel like a rookie in the business compared to both of you. I have lots I can learn from you. Let's move down to Marshall in sunny Arizona.
Yeah, it's a little bit warm here. But yeah, so my name's Marshall Nathy. I have been in the business almost 5 years now. I was very fortunate to take off rather quickly. So I have an MBA background, so my whole business has been online lead gen, which comes with a lot of uncertainty. A big portion of my success has come from manifestation as well as energy efficiency. I'm very intentional with my morning to ensure that throughout the day I have equal and consistent energy, because again, as we're all salesmen and women at the end of the day, as that energy communicates over the phone, which has been my biggest area of business, cold calling, scripting, stuff like that. And to be honest, it was something that I had to really pay attention to. So I do the standard stuff, man. It's the success I've found has come from just recognition that energy is everything, and the manifestation of what what my intentions are, or what I'm going to receive.
That's amazing, Marshall. And down to the very tip, I guess the end, to Stephen in Florida, where we will be hosting EXP Con 2024, I hear. Miami, but I guess you're from Jacksonville. Is that what you said, Stephen?
Yes, I'm in Jacksonville. We're at the north part of the state here on the Atlantic coast. We are definitely warm down here. Not as warm as probably South Florida, but they've been wet this last week. So I'm really excited. I'm honored to be here on the stage with some of you very heavy veterans. I've been in the business just over 20 years. I closed my independent brokerage in 2018 to come to this amazing company, eXp Realty. I am about to be awarded my 6th icon. I'm very excited about it. I'm former U.S. military, U.S. Air Force. And I like to compare mindset to success. Just basically always take that word mindset and always basically just make it the word success. And it's all about switching focus if you need to. And I got a 30-day challenge to share with everybody at some point, hopefully during the call or during this panel. So I'm really excited.
Well, that is absolutely amazing. Well, once again, thank you all 4 of you for taking the time. So let's get this kicked off with some fun. In no particular order, you guys can we'll kind of rotate between Canada and the US. What's your favorite song or songs that instantly boost your mood and improve your mindset? And why, guys, do these songs have a positive impact on you? How about Marshall? Let's take it off with you first.
Songs. My gosh.
Songs. Yeah.
I'll be honest, depends what kind of mood I'm in. Like I have a really obnoxious ringtone called Money by Cardi B. That's the song that I get juiced up for because that's what I have connected to any inbound calls, any inbound text messages, because I know that if that's what I'm hearing, that means there's money on the line, so I better get up and move in. So that's one. And then other than that, I'm kind of an old soul. I really enjoy some good old MJ, some Michael Jackson. That's kind of my shit. So yeah, that's going to be, and the reason I like it so much is just because it's all high energy in my opinion. The way he presented, the way he sung, the way he goes about his songs and his lyrics. In my world, that's like, it gets me juiced, and that's just personal preference.
I love it. That is so cool. What about over to you, Patrick?
I have one go-to song, literally one song. It's Eminem, Lose Yourself. If you listen to the words to it, for me, it's you lose yourself in the opportunity and you only have one chance. So to me, that translates into mindset for sure. But going in, being prepared, you really do truly only have one shot, especially if you're competing against the others. So be the best you can be going in, or don't show up.
That is so true, especially when you're doing a market evaluation. I know a lot of people play certain music to get themselves in the mood on the way to sales appointments and things like that. Landon, what about over to you?
Lyndon.
Thank you.
It's kind of funny you say this. As soon as you started that, I'm like, what is my song? What is my song? I don't really have a song, but I listen to music all day long. I just always have it on no matter what. It just, for some reason, it just really works for me. A couple things come to mind, like what really juices me up, anything AC/DC. As soon as I hear AC/DC, I'm just ready to go. But when I'm sitting there at the computer and I've got a real system in the morning, I always do about an hour and a half of computer work and always get some business going. Weirdly enough, I know this might be strange, but I listen to Sade. I listen to it. It relaxes me. It puts me in a business mode, and I am just ready and juiced to go. So it might be a bit strange.
You know what? It's all about things that improve your mindset. So absolutely not strange. Stephen, your turn.
So those are some great answers. AC/DC is one of my favorite. Grew up listening to it. But and I liked what the other guy said. I think it was Patrick. That when you're going to listen to it. It's funny. Back in early 2000s when I got in the business, the one that really resonated with me the most was Going to Closing. Was the song by Semisonic, Closing Time. That was like, it came on the radio during one of my closing. I'm heading to closing. I'm like, Closing Time. That's an amazing song. I love that part. To motivate myself, Eye of the Tiger. I love Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. I've been to plenty of different venues where we had some mastermind groups, and they play that a lot. I just love that. As far as getting ready for a listing presentation, I love, who doesn't love We Ready by Archie, right? And to final it out, I can't leave out Can't Stop, because I don't stop. Can't quit. But as far as the red hot chili peppers, so those are some good ones of mine. Different times of the day, different situations.
That is awesome. You guys, those are great songs. So if anyone in the group is making a playlist, I think you've got a good hour worth of amazing pump it up music. So we alluded to this a little bit in our intros, but let's share with our group and our audience this morning our morning routine that isn't related to business. What practices do you incorporate to ensure you start your day off with a positive mindset? What specific rituals or habits do you have that can really put a positive tone on your day? Let's start with you again, Stephen.
Great. No, thank you so much for coming back to me. It's interesting you say how you start your day, right? And honestly, my belief is that your mindset starts before you go to bed. I've been around a lot of smart people, and I love the saying, you don't want to be in the room and be the smartest guy or girl. You want to be in a room where people, you can get information from them. And I've done that over the years. But, the night before you go to sleep, I think that's when you're preparing your mind, your mindset. That's when you're really getting ready. And, you do it before you fall asleep. You do it also first thing in the morning. So you go to sleep and you wake up doing it. And what it is you're doing you're basically, what am I grateful for? What are my gratitudes? What are my affirmations? What are my wins? What was great? All positive thinking, and then of course, what is positive currently in my life? And if you come to that agreement of doing that before you go to bed, and when you wake up, you do it again. Now, I also do it. I do a 2-mile walk in the morning before the sun comes up. My coach encouraged me to do it. My doctor, I'm getting older and late 50s, and it definitely helps me a little bit get going in the morning. But that really helps me. That is pretty much my ritual. And that really kind of gets me going. That gets me going. And then, I go a little deeper and say that, when I get in the office, the first thing I shoot for is to swallow the frog, do the hard things first part of the day. I could touch on that later maybe, but that probably is enough for now.
That's awesome. It's so true. How you go to sleep, when we talk about it in the holistic health world, we talk about getting to sleep at a consistent hour, the hours in which our body heals so that we can perform as top agents. It's super key. So, yeah, things that sometimes we all know, but until we're given that reminder or until we're ready to receive that information, we don't decide to implement, so we're all humans. We're not perfect, but, how about over to you, Lyndon?
Yeah, a great question. This is really important for people. You're absolutely going to succeed by having a routine. I really start with it, and I like what the panelists have said. Just be really good to yourself. Be so happy about what you're doing and moving, forward with things. And for me, I pretty much I get up. I'm up at about 6:30 in the morning. I typically go to the TV. I watch the weather. I spend 10 minutes watching the weather, and I get my coffee on, and I do my workout. So I'll do about 20, 30 minutes of workout. Have a coffee. Sometimes I'll go outside for 5 or 10 minutes, just enjoy the fresh air. But then I go right to about an hour to an hour and a half of setting my day, taking care of some of the things that are just really important, making sure that I'm all set up for the day. And then right after that, I go for a hot tub, have a shower, and I'm off. And that's pretty much what I do about 80-90% of the time.
That is amazing. And for all of you on the call that are not from Alberta or parts of Canada that are heavily focused on the weather, it's kind of a joke. My folks are Newfoundlanders, the far part of Canada, and the first minute of every phone call is about the weather. Yet, to this day, it's like, how's the weather where you are, honey? So I love that you take both mindset and health in the same morning routine. And it's amazing. So down to you, Marshall, in dry, sunny Arizona. What about you?
My morning starts pretty consistently. I wake up at 5. First thing I do is I take a shower first thing in the morning. I rinse off. It helps wake me up. I actually go and then I chug 24 ounces of water. with a little bit of sea salt in it. Technically, it's Himalayan salt, pink salt, but besides the point. And then I'll actually go into my grateful journal and morning meditation. I like to keep this up to about 25 to 27 minutes is when I'm out the door and heading to the gym. And I only want my morning to take about 90 minutes until I'm in the office. That's why I wake up so early. My goal is to be in the office by about 7:45. But that's my consistent every morning. I recognize I'm a lot better person, human, and leader when I get in the intention with the grateful journal as well as the meditations, which again, it's just our entire world is very hectic and high energy, high stress. And it's, the bigger problems we can solve, the more money we make. And I personally believe very strongly that the intention of slowing that down, even if it's 4, 7, 8, 9 minutes, has a wildly, wildly long list of benefits.
And that's incredible. With 5 years in the business, you're implementing this consistently. And it really does make a huge difference as you go year by year. I mean, some of the veterans on the call with 20 or 25 years in the call, it's amazing because there's a huge rate of burnout in the industry, both mental and physical. So having a morning routine like that is very, very key, I think, in my opinion. Patrick, what about over to you?
Mine's kind of like the first guy that spoke. I make my list. Basically, I write it on a pad because that's just how I operate, because I cross things off for small victories. I make the before, leave it on my keyboard. So basically, if I have a full day, I'm not waking up all night thinking about it. I already know what I'm doing. Go to bed decent time. Obviously, I do affirmations before I go to sleep. As far as my day, what I'm going to wake up and do in the morning, I get up same time pretty much every day. It's like clockwork now. I don't even need the alarm. Get up, have coffee. Usually I'm first up, and I kind of plan it that way all the time because I want an hour just to myself in the house. Basically, everybody else is sleeping. Have my coffee. I'm a beta tester for Marvel Studios in a video game. So I deal with that first thing in the morning, check in with my group, check in with the testing. Then I check in with my Synergy group, which is a mentoring group. Have a couple of those groups that I'm part of here in Calgary. Then, do a little more affirmations, hit the den, get my coffee, look at my list, and start attacking it. And for me, it's routine. I find it easiest, but you do need to figure out what works for you and then execute that routine. It probably sounds easier than it is, but if you set yourself up a routine to succeed, you'll succeed. It's sort of like part of your affirmation. Just don't deviate, don't cheat it, because really at that point, you're only cheating yourself.
Well said, Patrick. Thank you so, so much. So let's talk about a topic that's really common in real estate. Stress is something we all deal with. How do we handle it? How do we handle stress in daily life? And what are some of the techniques you have found most effective to keeping your life low stress? Marshall, can we start off with you? You sound like you have a real rock solid routine.
I'm so sorry. You skipped out for a second. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. So this question's all about stress. So this actually came from the panel, which was, I thought, a fabulous question. So stress is something we all deal with. How do you handle stress in your daily life? Yeah. And what are some of the techniques you found most effective?
Okay. I'll be honest, I don't have a crazy sexy answer for this because the simple intention is, and I don't know if it's a level of arrogance, if we're being honest, there is a firm belief I have instilled in myself. It's what I call the end is secure. So the simple truth of the matter is that I am so confident in myself as a human that I know in a temporary problem will not become a long-term issue. A temporary problem needs quick action, and that I know that at the end of the day, it's happening for me, not to me. So when I'm saying that, when you mention stress, my one thing is to get ahead of it, where I know that, hey, if I have a hard issue, it's not something that I need to get stressed over. It's something that I need to be intentional over, and I need to go attack and problem solve. So that's one. And then if I truly am in a period where I'm just like, I need a moment, I have a young, almost 11-month-old son and a beautiful wife who, helps me run one of our companies, is very supportive of me. And we'll go take a 2-day trip somewhere where I'll just kind of shut down. But those would be my intentional solutions to that.
It's so important to have time off, downtime, and like you talked about, that work-life balance. So, remembering what fills your cup up, because I think when we're in a good mindset place, we can handle those moments of maybe slightly more stress or, or slightly less. So that's super key. I love your approach on it. Patrick, what about, how do you handle stress?
I used to be not great at it, actually, especially when I first started. Now I have a program, my own program. I just call it Focus Forward. I look at it now. Can I fix it? Can I deal with it? And how is it affecting me? If I can't change it, I leave it. If it's something that really needs my attention, but if it's something out of my control and it's going to evolve and it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But if I can't deal with it, I will not dwell on it all day. You can't, because literally it's just going to stop you from doing what you're doing. If it's something where it's a stressor point in a deal or something like that, literally, I just take a moment, dumb it down, look at it and go, okay, how can I deal with it? How can I get it to where I need it to be? And then I guess pops up the question, can you change any of the outcome? Because the narrative is usually us, but it's something from an outside source that you can't control. Then there's nothing you can do about it. Quite often I will bounce it off my wife, who's also my business partner. She's an amazing sounding board that way, because I try to look at things 8 different ways. And literally from her, she's taught me, just if you can't deal with it, can't fix it. And if it's not affecting you on your day-to-day, leave it. There's just nothing you can do. If it's sort of like a live grenade sitting on the ground, just walk away from it.
That's great advice, especially for all of the new agents listening to this call. There's some things that you just have to say, okay, it is what it is.
It's very hard, especially with new realtors. I don't know if anybody's brand new in this thing, but in the first 2 to 3 years, even if you lose a sale over a home inspection, or somebody goes, hey, I'm going to go work with Barb instead of you, you take it personal. It's like somebody just walked up, punched you in the face and walked away from you, and you just didn't have a chance. Just learn from it. Every little fall that you get, just learn from it, get off the mat and start pushing forward.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I mentor 2 new agents right now. And yesterday, one of them was sharing just her experience with, presenting an offer and it not going the way she wanted to. And she was devastated. And,
Yep.
And it's because they take it so personally. But one of the pieces of advice that I learned right off the bat was, and you alluded to this, slow down, think about it. And really, you have a sounding board, whether that's your wife, your business partner, whomever it is, look to those for a different perspective, because this agent ran it by 2 agents and we had completely different perspective. But in the end, the outcome was, well, you got to find common ground, so it's really important. How about down to you, Stephen? What about you?
Man, those are some really amazing answers, Patrick. I mean, you nailed it. I definitely can learn something from you, man. Definitely some good words. I'll just say this, doing this 20 plus years, real estate can be messy. I mean, we can get into stress. I mean, putting out fires, saving closings, dealing with inspection issues, just like they said. We get all kind of hits, I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's gonna be how many, and we can get stressed. I mean, I get caught up in stress, and I get caught up in the negative. And I years in this business, it took me a long time, almost probably 14, 15 years before I even got a coach, which was ridiculous. because everybody needs a coach. And my coach, sometimes I'll get on a coaching call and I'm stressed and I'll be start talking and he'll say, hey, before this thing snowballs, before it magnifies, and I use this in my day to day, I definitely try to do my best to switch focus as fast as possible. So if I'm in a stressful situation and I'm talking negatively, we all ask ourselves questions. We all talk to ourselves sometimes, and be careful what you ask. Because you have to identify the negative state you're in as soon as you can to switch that focus. Watch what you're thinking. And it could pile up quickly because if you don't change quickly, it's gonna consume you. So here's an example that I love. It's like tweak the question or the words, and that makes a huge difference. Just changing the words around. Like, for example, you could ask yourself, why am I having such a bad day or hard time at this? Why did I get stuck with this, with this situation? And those are easy to answer, but they're all negative, because I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, or it could just be something like, why is my business not thriving? Because I'm not prospecting enough, because I'm not time blocking, because I'm not being intentional. Instead, ask yourself better questions like, what exactly can I be doing differently to make it better? And this is what I've learned. And it just really just changing the words around takes me from that stressful situation and changes my mindset in a very fast manner so I can turn around, be positive, and then get back in my day. So I hope that helps.
I love it. Once again, it's all about mindset, right? Putting that.
Absolutely.
It's all about mindset. Landon, what about you?
Stress. Boy, that's a loaded word. The world is getting more stressful all the time. Great stuff by everybody, by the way. And, being in the business a long time, the world has changed a lot, 32 years. Real estate's getting more stressful. People are getting more stressful. The question is, where's the stress coming from? In the business, we have stress in our lives as well. But if we just talk specifically about the business, it's almost always people. So it's our buyers, it's our sellers, and it's other agents out there. And usually it's just handling objections that are happening. And so what I really push, we've got a small team and I've done a lot of training in the industry, is it's so important to understand that all realtors are working together and we are a team. So when we're in an offer situation, whatever it is, and maybe the other side's having trouble putting something together and your buyers or your sellers are upset, whatever it is, it's making sure everybody understands that we're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to achieve the same thing, success for everyone. So just in a quick example of something that just happened yesterday, had an agent, pretty new agent, had a deal on, and it was a domino effect. So she had an offer on my property and somebody else had an offer on hers. All of a sudden on her deal, they couldn't get it done. The other agent wasn't communicating with her. She couldn't get conditions removed. And she says, I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. And she's getting stressed out. And I said, wait, let's just talk about this. What's going on? So again, we slowed things down, took a look at it. Hey, her seller wasn't wanting to move on the price adjustment after an inspection. I said, what's going on? So we talked about it. And I said, listen, do you mind if I call that other agent? So this isn't even my deal. So she said, yes, please. So I called the other agent and I said, what's going on over there? So we talked about it a little bit. I said, well, you know what? They're trying to do some things. At the end of the day, this morning, about an hour before this started, that deal went together because everybody worked as a team. So I thought that was just so cool. So if we really just can listen to what everybody said here, slow down like everybody said, understand that everybody works together as a team. And our job really is guides for our clients, our buyers and our sellers for life, all their friends and families. And so our job is to keep things cool. So I know a lot is said there, but that's how I deal with stress, slow things down and just make sure everybody works as a team.
That's absolutely incredible. And I think the more years in the business, it really hits home. Sometimes new agents really struggle with this because they get excited, they get caught up in the moment. And like you said, lean on those with experience, lean on those relationships, and don't just react instantly. Go, whether you go for a walk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, like the world's not going to end over 10 minutes. And I think that's so key. Like take a breath, okay, what are they asking me? What's the challenge? How do we put the pieces of the puzzle together?
Mhm.
So yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. You guys have really hit this out of the park. I'm loving all of your answers. We're going to change it a little bit around, but it's still related to mindset. This also came from the group. To become a better human leader, what are a few things you do each day or each week? And how do these actions contribute to your personal and professional growth? Lyndon, do you want to take it away again?
Yeah. Okay. How to be a leader? I think it's pretty simple. When I started to getting in the industry and just started, leading my team and doing some teaching, it was really about having to walk the walk, and just really being an example for everybody, and having no fear, because really, what is fear? False evidence appearing real. So we just get caught up in our minds and whatnot. And if we want to be leaders out there, we got to be those people that are at the front line, be willing to take things on, be open to any objections that come, and be that person that's, willing to handle and just help people be successful without a benefit to us. Help people be successful is really, I think, a great way to take a look at it and be that example.
It's really speaks to the EXP model, right? Giving back to others, leading by example, whether that's through the mentorship program, but whether that's through, ensuring the people that you bring to EXP in your sphere or your business partner line are successful. It's really so, so important. We are honestly stronger together. We truly are. What about you, Marshall?
Well, I do two things. One is very intentionally my grateful journal. That's probably my number one. I'm a heavy person about what's next, where am I going, what's my new income, how do I get more and more and more and more. And I recognize that my anxiety on, hey, I'm not doing enough, skyrocketed when I don't do my grateful journal. The grateful journal is what grounds me to what I currently have, what I've currently achieved. It was something my wife used to rip me up a little bit about, because I'm a very high D personality, and I just have a ton of drive. I'm very intentional, and I'm very intense. And this was something that allowed me to ground. That's one. And then the just constantly reminding myself, this is hella cheesy, but it's one of the photos online that went viral about there's a leader and there's a boss. The boss is sitting on the desk whipping you as you're trying to drag it as your employees, and then the leader is the one that's in the front pulling the charge. I think the reason that I attract the amount of people I do is for the fact that I don't have any expectations for anybody that I won't do, meaning if it's time to dial our 200 dials in that day, you bet your ass I'm sitting down and I'm dialing 200 dials with you. So there's a level of intention that comes to putting myself into uncomfortable situations that demand me to become a better human, better person. And I constantly am seeking to put myself in a corner to know that, like, suggesting better isn't an option. I have to be better or I'm not getting out of the situation. So.
Wow, you are a machine, Marshall. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Stephen, what about you?
No, that's some really good stuff, Marshall. That's pretty impressive. I've always done everything I can to, going back to my Air Force days when I was younger, I saw some really good leaders there. And, you try to lead by example. You try to, just like you said, don't ask someone to do something you wouldn't do yourself, and so I definitely try to be intentional and try to make sure that's something in my daily routine, to do every day intentionally, to make sure that others see that. Something I've learned recently, a couple things recently is, being careful not to put a square peg in a round hole. I've always said that statement, but even so more later in my real estate career, I'm just, sometimes we tend to, not fit the right pieces in the right puzzle places. And so definitely trying to make sure that I'm there for people, to try to listen, to try to, to try to figure out, what I could do to be as a solution provider versus, just, hey, this is what's wrong. Instead of what's wrong, come from it from a position of, a positive position of, here's a solution I can hope to provide you. And it's something one of my fishing buddies mentioned to me not too long ago, and it's actually it's been in my head, and I am trying to do more of it. And that is, he asked me a question. He says, hey, let me ask you a question. How many things have you done in real estate? He's not in real estate. He's retired Navy military, and he said, what's a couple things you've done recently that didn't give you any monetary benefit that you did to help somebody? And that's actually, that kind of goes in line with the book, 7 Levels of Communication, because that was something that I learned. And that was sometimes getting, everybody wants to get something, but at the same time, sometimes being a giver, help people with your success and such a way to, provide, something for somebody without even asking for something. And God will provide. I think because I pray a lot, and I think God will give us support, and it'll be there for us if we just do the right thing. And so that's a nutshell. So that going forward, I'm gonna try to do more of that. More take note to what that book said, and I read that years ago. But I need to really kind of focus into that. But that's sort of what I think being a good leader, that I've focused on and what I'm moving into the future with.
Absolutely fantastic. I love that, sometimes you've got to give back without having that expectation of financial compensation. That is so key.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Patrick, share with us your strategies in this.
So I guess I do mine different because I do love mentoring, and my way of giving back is helping. But one of the things that I do mindset wise is I'm just like the last guy. You give, do not expect nothing in return. But what happens is if you do give all the time, whether you believe in karma, the world aligning, synergies, whatever, you'll receive stuff. You will. It'll come back to you tenfold. It equals getting results. I'm a big believer in, especially when you're doing transactions. And I tell my clients this, actually, I tell them right in the first meeting, I don't look at you as a meal ticket. And I go, we're here to work as a group, as a team to get to a goal. But even with the other realtor, I collaborate, I congratulate them when the deal is done, and I praise them. Because at the end of the day, we're all realtors. We all have the same tag, but you're going to work with this person again. They're going to remember the stuff you did, the way you praised them, thank them for being professional. My big thing truly is just always be the pro in the room, because people will gravitate to the people that act like that and carry themselves like that. Don't be quiet, do everything with the purpose, but have a voice, have an opinion. If you make a mistake, and we are, especially for some of the people that are new, you're going to make a mistake. You know what? It's like I tell my kids, own it. I don't care how big it is. I'm going to forgive you. We move on. I respect you a ton more just by owning it. But it's just one of the things in real estate is be there. Just don't be present. Be there, be involved, and do it. And, like the guy had said about the 7 levels of communication, like it's just learn your craft, learn how it is, but always be the pro. But just give. It's 5 of my deals this year, the realtor in a multiple offer situation, and one of them, there was 14, phoned me back and he said, we picked yours because of you. We knew how you operated, we knew how you were, and we knew you'd get the job done. I'm telling you, if you give stuff back, you don't know where it's going to come back to you. But this year, 5 deals were put together because the people said, I know you, I sat in one of your classes, you've always been good to me. They know. As much as they're not supposed to pick it that way, human nature is you're going to gravitate where you're comfortable and you know what's going to get done. So that's kind of my thing. It's a lot in a nutshell, but just constantly give, constantly praise. Everybody's just trying to do a job. And sometimes you're doing all sides of the job, but that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Patrick, that is
Nice.
such great advice. And I think for all of the new agents in this, listening to this, whether it's right now or today, that phrase, don't be a secret agent, but also form those relationships with other agents. So like how you're giving back through your calls. But when it comes down to it, if the two offers are very similar, there's always has to be a decision or a breaking point. And it's so key. I'm sure all of us on this call can really understand that sometimes our personal relationships with that other agent, whether, like here's a fun little example. I was in a multiple offer recently, and it turns out I knew the sellers, but I didn't put two and two together. And when they had started their restaurant and they were really struggling, I was their biggest super fan. And I had brought every single client there. I had bought closing gifts. And when it came to picking the two offers, and they were literally identical, the sellers said to the agent, we've got to go with Laura's offer, because what she doesn't realize is her constant support, her positive attitude made the biggest difference when we could barely pay our bills for that first year in business. And I mean, I had no idea. I had no idea they were struggling. I just loved their restaurant. Like I loved that they had built a restaurant in my favorite part of town. And I just couldn't wait to share with the world this place I'd found that made me happy. So, it comes 360. You just don't know how and when. And they had this restaurant 6 years ago, like who knew? So we've alluded a little bit on some fabulous books. I wasn't going to originally ask this question, but I think we all love to listen to audiobooks as we drive or read a book before bed or on vacation. We've talked about the 7 levels of communication. Do the panelists have any other books they'd really love to share? Patrick, do you have any books that you think would be super beneficial that you've read or are listening to right now?
Yeah, I like that, the levels one. The Influence People one is an old book, but it's actually quite good. This one's a little more, I guess, out there, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And that goes back to control what you can control and just move forward. Like it's a shedding stress thing. And I think in the moment you're in, you'll find something, whether it's a book. I'm better actually talking to people. So what I do is sometimes like our collaboration group will just get we'll do a Zoom meeting, a bottle of wine on a Friday night, and we just shoot it. And sometimes it's just, you have to find your vice for getting your mindset straight. And some days it is the subtle art of not giving an F. And some days it's 7 levels of communication. It varies.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Anyone else on our panelists? Any books that you think our group should read or listen to? Marshall, Stephen?
Goggins, David Goggins. Can't Hurt Me.
Can't Hurt Me?
Yeah, by David Goggins. It may not be for everybody, but our coach, my coach, suggested it. But maybe I resonate with it because it's he's talking more so from the military side of it. But not quitting and just persevering. That's where that really kind of touched me. And I'm also a Audible guy. I hate reading books.
I hear you. Put it on an audiobook. I'll listen to it as I drive around. Yeah.
I like the Gratitude Effect by John DeMartini. Outstanding book, without question. And the other thing I'm going to mention is anything by Richard Branson. I really love the way that he does business. It's all about inclusion, include everybody in your success. So a couple things that have really helped me and others that I've shared that with.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, let's go on to our final few questions. So as wonderful panelists today, if you're ever feeling negative, how do you reset your mindset? And what strategies or activities do you use to shift back to a positive state of mind? Let's take it away with you, Stephen.
Awesome. I get to be first. All right. Well, I think this was the question where, when your cup's not full, you're not there. What do you need? What do you go to? What do you lean on that's kind of pull out, maybe a smile in your day or a little bit of motivation or a little bit positive mindset, right? I mentioned earlier, prayer is always, I'd say it's number one. A small prayer always helps. Asking the good Lord for support and strength. As my business partner says, it's not our plan, it's God's plan. So when we plan, God laughs. So I like to just result back to prayer. But I don't think it's ever a bad idea in the middle of the day if you're having, and you're not at the 100% level, say out loud, what are you grateful for? What are the wins? Think about the wins. Think positively. If you start talking negatively, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to build up. It's going to pile up. It's going to snowball. So go positive. And here's an interesting two things about talking to people. Talking to my coach. Everybody needs one. And I like to be around people who have a good attitude. And that's when you choose a coach, choose a coach that has a great attitude. And I've got an amazing coach. And my coach is always, it pumps me up. It gets me going. It fills my cup. It gives me overflowing big time. When I get off the calls with him, I'm just like, wow, I'm ready to go into battle, so to speak. And then here's another one, calling, some of my former clients and customers that have become friends that I enjoy talking to, that really respected what I did to help them and their family. Never hurts to be told, hey, you really know your stuff and you really helped our family. And that really fills the cup. That really gets you back to 100%. And then if all that other fails, I jump on the boat and I get on the water because I'm a fishing guy. I'm a boating and I love being in Florida. I love having all the water available to me. And I just get on the boat and then everything is solved.
I absolutely love it. Sometimes we have to think outside real estate to fill our cup back up. Landon, what about you, Lyndon?
Yeah. Besides a good rum, I guess. I guess, what's the reason that I'm feeling negative? So if I'm feeling negative, is really dissecting a little bit. Is like, if you can just somehow take a moment and go, why am I feeling this way? And that I think a person finds that the stressful world is one of these things that makes us happen that way. When you kind of dissect why I'm feeling that way, and it's often not that big of a deal. There's obviously those great books, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Those are such great things to remember on a regular basis. And, but yeah, just really understanding that you are in control of your mind and you have the ability to handle any objections, to get rid of the stress, get rid of the negative feelings. And that's how powerful the mind is. So if you can just really get there, I think, things start getting into line and you start putting your mindset where it needs to be and just be one of those people that, when there's a negative situation, for me, I look at it like, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this. What's the benefit that's going to happen from solving this problem? And, I guess just attacking it, not being afraid of it. And I loved, his comment about getting on the water, because I kind of do the same thing. I go kayaking sometimes too. So there's a few ideas.
That is amazing. Patrick, what would you like to add to this great question?
I guess just realize that everybody can have a bad day. I mean, we all do it. Our kids do it. You need a mental health day. If you got too much going on, you wake up, you feel stressed out, you're still doing your routine, you're looking at your list and you're going, screw this. And it just, don't go into your day like that then, because literally you're just going to push that onto clients, people, everything else. You're just cranky. At the end of the day, own what it is that you're doing. Again, look at your mindset. You're allowed to have a rough day. I will look at the purpose of it again and just sort of go, okay, there's nothing here I can change. I'm just having a bad day, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, whatever. Try to hit a hard reset and go, okay, take the day off, go for a walk, have another cup of coffee, try to shake it up. For me, it's golf. I go out there because really the only game you're playing is against you. Go to the driving range, go for a walk, or watch Netflix. You have to understand you can take a day off. I find so many realtors feel like they've got to work 24/7, 7 days a week, that is one step into poverty, because nobody cares how much you're working if your head and your production is substandard, and you're not doing yourself a favor or your family at that point. So just know that you can take a day off. Do it. You owe it to yourself.
Patrick, that is so key. When we talk about mindset, when I really harnessed in on what was super important to me, I realized purpose and lifestyle was why I was in real estate. So last year I worked 9 months out of 12 months. I hit all my targets. And when I stand up on stage, or I was on stage last week, in person, not virtual, I'm listening to these agents and they're all crushing their goals. And I shared with the group, well, I worked 9 months and I hit all my goals and I'm happy. And because I'm happy, like one of you guys alluded to it on the call, I attract other like-minded, happy people, whether that's agents that I collaborate with, whether that's clients, because we love to be around positive energy. It's so key. It fills us back up. So we might run slightly over if everyone's okay. Marshall, I would love to hear your input to this question, because I think it's such a great question.
Yeah, so my question is very simple. I don't have any action or event. I just hang out with my wife and my son. That's what fills me up. It's very very, I know it almost sounds cheesy, and like a lot of people may not believe that, but yeah, shit you not. That's actually what fills my cup. I go and I'll take her out. We'll go grab lunch. We'll bring Liam. We'll go shopping, and it's just hanging out with them pulls me out. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I go to a very intentional place of spending time with them in that moment. And it kind of pulls me back to earth and grounding that, like, hey, the world's not burning down right now and everything's all right.
I absolutely love it. And I hear from so many agents, especially when they're newer, that they struggle with, what if I miss that client call? What if I miss that lead? What if I don't get back to that person fast enough? And I think your values and knowing what fills you up and understanding the importance that to be a good, successful, happy agent, you need a solid personal life. You need to have, you need to make time. Just like we do for our clients, you need to make time for your marriage, your relationship, for your family, because, before you know it, you blink and boom, your kid is 20. So, I'm a product of parents that put their cell phones down and paid one-on-one attention. And to this day, I love my parents. I'm thrilled to, be their daughter. So kudos to you, Marshall, because, it's so important when to make that time. We are kind of wrapping up, unless you guys would like to share, one last thing. If just like a quick word, if you reflect on your career, is there anything you wish you knew when you started?
I'd like to say something, Laura. You said it a number of times, and it's your environment. So mindset is often your environment. So if you just ask yourself this question, who are the 5 people you hang around most? And if you really take a look at that, and you take a look, are these people raising me up? Are they helping me be what I want to be? If they're not, you might need to change a few of those people. That's a big, big deal.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Jump in, anyone else? What is it that really you wish you knew when you started this journey in real estate? I'd love to hear from you guys as we wrap up this most incredible call. My cup is so full after listening to your stories. I'm just so ecstatic. I'm almost speechless.
Yeah, I'll say something real quick. I wish I knew how many moving parts there were in this industry and how important systems were going to be. I was a systems guy, but and I do well with it. But man, I wish I knew that. I wish I I wish I knew how much of a public figure I had to be. My business partner says we almost have to be newscasters, with this YouTube and social media coming into play since I've been in the business. I mean, I came in, there was 2002 or 3, didn't exist. So I wish I knew that was going to happen, having to be on video and having to be in front and center, in front of people's lives. How much people would expect me to do or demand me to do for no compensation. I wish I knew that. So, and how important time management, time blocking was going to be, and, know how to hire slow and fire fast and all those, important business things, but no, there's a lot you wish you knew when you come in, but it's great to have people like you guys around us, and definitely really enjoyed today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Feel free to put any questions in the chat. But wow, you guys, wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm so honored to have been part of this conversation with you all. Thank you. And congratulations on getting ICON again. It's a huge achievement.
Thanks so much.
To all the other panelists. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it.
I want to thank you all for being here today. This was really, honestly, an amazing show, to say the least. So I want to tell everybody out there watching this on YouTube, we are here every single Friday at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, 11:45 a.m. Eastern time. If you are watching this, smash that like button. And we will be joining an amazing panel next week as well. And we will be welcoming back Lyndon Summer next week. So y'all have a great day. For any of you out there in the audience that are in a current ICON active benefit year, just for being here today, I'm feeling generous. I'm going to drop to you a survey in the chat box that you can fill out and get just a couple of points for doing so.